Hey, Harmonites, Tanya Lee here. I wanted to touch on the topic of having an open heart. Having an open heart. I really, and one of the main reasons I want to open this up is because I have been struggling with having an open heart, and I will be honest with you with that. And one of the things that really come in play with this, with having an open heart, is fear of the unknown, fear of not knowing what security I'll have. And I have done a lot of self-healing and self-love work on what it is to have an open heart, right? So I ask of you guys, what does it mean to you to have an open heart? And feel free to comment below, or, if you do have an open heart already, just say hashtag open heart. But here's the thing: when you allow your heart to be open, and the difference between an open heart and a closed heart. And that's really what I wanted to get on this. When your heart is open, you are in the notion of anything is possible, that you aren't afraid. You are not afraid of what outcomes are going to come, because you know that nothing is going to shake you, and that you love yourself enough that you can take care of yourself. You have that your own happiness, right? And that's truly, to me, what an open heart means. When your heart is closed, it's that feelings and those thoughts that come in where maybe I can't do that. Maybe that's not the right choice to make. But I might lose something. But I don't have enough of something, or how is that going to play? Like you start getting logical, right? You really start getting logical, and like your head starts spinning. You start going in this, how am I going to get through this obstacle, and how am I going to get through the next one? And what happens is, when all these thoughts come in play, whether they're sadness about like old stories or old things or old beliefs that were in play back in the day in your life, because they do shape you. They do shape you at some point, because, our subconscious does run us. And when I say it runs us and makes most of our decisions unconsciously, we don't realize sometimes of the extent of some of these decisions that we make, because we had feelings that we didn't digest or go through. We never allowed those feelings to come up, and are really allowing those feelings to come up. But it's really easy to get sucked in to old beliefs and old shifts. And as you practice of having an open heart, and really the best way to practice to have an open heart is the mindfulness, is to take time to meditate, to allow feelings to come up. And I know that I say this in like probably every video that I post here in the Harmonia community, but it's staying present and really seeing at the present time what's affecting you, and just allowing it to come up and realizing you're okay. You're still okay. There's nothing that is like, you're not going to just poof, go away from the world at this point, right? Whereas when we start thinking about the future, we get the anxiety and the, and all of a sudden other people's opinions come in, and judgments come in, and things come in play. And my struggle with this is sometimes I try too much, right? And you're like, Tanya, well, trying's, at least you're doing something. But here's the thing about trying. Trying is actually not doing anything. Ta-da! Think about it. If you're trying to get, I don't know, I have a glass of, I have a can of soda here, can of seltzer. I'm trying to get the can of seltzer. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to go to it. If I'm trying it, I'm not actually getting it. When I pick up, I got the seltzer in my hand. That's an action. I have it done already. But when you're trying, you're just doing this. You're just doing this. So that's what happens to our minds. We get stuck in this trying notion. And that's something that I catch myself doing. I'll be like, I'm trying to make more money. I'm trying to move to Michigan. I'm trying to get myself situated. I'm trying to do new things. Yeah. So I find myself stuck in those little notions too. It definitely gets a lot less because I'm more mindful and aware. So as soon as I say try, I go, wait a minute, trying is not doing anything. Hold up. What can I be open to? Can I have an open heart? Can I have an open mind of possibilities on here, and to really allow myself, what makes me happy? What are the things that I can do to make myself happy? To see these vibrations of something coming in play that are larger than life, bigger than me, completely unfathomable of what I can even imagine in the existence of this world today, that are in front of me, in front of us, because we keep ourselves small when we are in these closed hearts, because we're concerned about the judgments of what others people thinks. We're concerned about our loved ones or relationships and how it's going to affect others. The key is, how is it affecting you? How is it affecting you? Your growth, how you're moving forward, what you're doing all day. Now, I can tell you some things that I have been facing here, and I can only do this by telling somewhat of my story so that you guys can truly understand what it is when you start going into this trying mode. Like I said, I've been trying to move, and my question is what am I doing to move? So my thing is financially, how am I going to make this move happen? How am I going to be stable? What if I'm just open to the idea that it's going to happen, and I'm going to allow it to happen, and that I'm going to do actions to get me there? So I've been taking those actions, and the actions that I have been taking have been a little bit unconventional, because there are things that if you asked me 5 years ago if I was going to do, I could tell you right now, I probably laugh in your face and say, you're fucking nuts. That's insane. That's not stable at all, and you are going through a giant midlife motherfucking crisis. So what is it? And I've been quiet on this channel for over a month, and there's a reason for it. I had this notion and expectations, and this is the issues with expectations. When you put these expectations in place, you're trying to control a situation. You're trying to control an outcome. You're not allowing the presence of things to come in play that actually could be fruitful for you if you have an open heart to new possibilities, to new things. And when you are trying so hard on it, you are calling in, especially with the law of attraction, that it's never going to come. You're never allowing that time to come. And I've been reminded so much lately, and I am catching myself, but I've been reminded so much lately of how far I've come. And any time that I have pushed forward or moved in a way that was like, I can't believe this is happening, is when I let go of expectations, of when I said, well, I'll be open to possibilities, or I'm going to instead of going straight today, I'm going to make a right and take a different path. So it's still taking actions. It's still taking those actions, but being open-minded that, some things, might come in play, and being aware of opportunities that might fall in place. Now, I always had this vision of I would get to my new location, I'd have a house, I would have a job, and I would start my love and adventures of Harmonia community and vlog and do all of these things. And I would start in a way that would leave me in a path of abundance and so forth, of new beginnings, right? Great. I have let go of a lot of stuff in 5 years. I mean, a lot of stuff that no longer served me, including things that were in my health, relationships, the whole shebang. I thought that was enough. But the thing is I'm still holding on to old situations that don't really define me anymore. And that was the big notion for me in the past couple of months, is that these things don't define me, and I need to start taking actions. And, even if I'm taking actions and there's failures, at least I can learn from them. At least I can learn from that situation. I do believe that when people say they made a mistake, they do stuff, you learn from it, but you still move on. Your life is not going to be like, it's one thing if it's something that's terminal and ends your life, but majority of the times our fears are not real. It's just the matter of the fact. Our fears aren't real. So I was doing a lot of waiting for stuff. And I started this channel with this idea that I wanted to help people and share my story and help them connect with the right people. And hey, I'm going to at least start it because that's something that I learned. I'm going to have an open-hearted and I'm just going to start it. I'm not going to worry about editing. I'm not going to worry about lighting. I'm not going to worry about being the producer and the editor and the filmmaker that I typically am. The artist, and I'm just going to talk and do it, and I'm not going to stop doing it, and I'm just going to learn from it. And so I did that, and it didn't really quite take off the way I expected. I was putting so much work into this, and I was exhausted. I was totally exhausted, and I'm like, I really want the start, and it was making me go. And I just had this idea that if I started this now, I would be situated, and I would be able to move forward in my journey. To Michigan, to my new location, and then I could really, go from there as to where my life was going to be and really help people. Really, really help people. And here's what happened. I was having opportunities that came up in front of me that I was ignoring because I was so focused on an expectation of like, I needed to do this. I needed to work all these additional hours. I even went back to some photography work. Now, I used to be a photographer. I retired from my business at the end of the last year. I decided to do photography to pull in some additional money so I could focus on some additional funds for my trip, my relocation. Okay. What happened is I stopped focusing on this channel and focusing on stuff that I really wanted to help people on. And I went back to some old things that I thought still served me. And I love photography. Don't get me wrong. And I love my clients, and I'm very lucky that I have, a bunch of clients who still love me, and we still have relationships in that sense. And, I can still do work on the side. But I ended up doing a last hurrah. Hey, I told everybody finally that I'm moving and that this was going to be my last hurrah. And, let's go to the beach. I said, let's go to the beach. So I used to have beach mini sessions. That was one of my top money makers. It was one of my top favorite things to do. Awesome, right? Let me tell you what happened that day. First off, I was getting my camera ready. I went to go put my battery in the camera. And, I was, keep in mind, my heart was not in it right now. I had a very closed heart because I was trying to get so much else done. I had other projects that I was starting. And during all the midst of this, I decided that I was going to pursue my tarot channel. I said, how much more can I pick up? I'm like trying to move and transition, and I'm still working a 9-to-5 job that I love and I adore. And I have a lot of time and effort on there, but I'm coming home and I'm working my ass off now doing the Harmonia channel and now this tarot channel. And I'm putting so much effort on this. And then I threw photography in there because I needed a quick buck and a hustle and to make sure that I'm out of here by the fall because that's my expectation. Period. Well, let me tell you how the universe handled that one. I got that day, I had a beautiful, beautiful reading that I had to do. I had a private reading for a tarot session, and it was amazing, and it was beautiful, and it was an amazing experience. And one of the things that I love about the tarot is that with this channel that I started, it's really allowed me to not only utilize my gifts, but it's also allowed me to utilize my gifts in what I really am, which is a spiritual connector, to really connect people with the right people when they need it, to give them that support. So, as blunt as I am with some of these messages that come across with people, I feel like I can lead them to the right direction if they need a support group or if there's a, right person that they need to go to. It's not always, someone like me, but I can give them those messages or I can give them that comfort or I can give them, something where they can use their own intuition, because that's what it's all about. So I have a very open heart to this. And I'm vulnerable. I'm just utilizing my gifts. It's so natural for me. It's so natural for me to talk right now. I love doing this. I absolutely adore doing this. This is what feels passionate to me. This is what lights my fucking fire. Okay. I love talking to you guys. And it's not that I like even looking at myself on camera, because I actually hate that. But it's a fear thing that I'm going through to show, because I really feel passionate about giving messages and to tell my stories. And I always feel like people can use their own intuition to relate to some of this stuff. And I think that's the coolest thing, is having this collective energy and this vibration where we can connect or feel guided to listen to these podcasts or YouTube channels at the time that we need it. Because we can't always afford to go to this, to get all of this, therapist or all this help or so forth. That sometimes we just need the time to use our own intuition to guide us, to let us hear, to really listen. And so I had a very open heart that morning. And then I was feeling this anxiety of this photography, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all my, these sessions to do and so forth. And so I went to go get my camera. First thing, my battery was dead as can be. Now, luckily, because I'm a professional photographer, I have backup, but I had to use an older camera, which was fine. But my newer camera, I could not figure out, I'm like, this is my brand new camera. I bought this last year. I can't believe this battery died. Well, it died. Well, there was a reason for it, because when I got to the shore, now I looked at the weather. The weather was clear as day. Now it said there was a little bit of wind. Yeah, no, it wasn't a little bit of wind. It was like hurricane winds. like the sand was pelting so badly that it left marks on my legs. Okay. The camera I had trashed. That camera got trashed. That universe saved my camera. Because that camera is going to come in play for me for what I need to do when I start making some of my, production and so forth. So thank God. But what happened is I felt rushed on there, because Mother Nature decided to fly on in and do a doozy of a storm. And I felt so defeated, because I had people there who were had expectations. They wanted this beautiful sunset and all this. And I'm just snapping pictures and doing what I got to do. As much as I wanted to say my heart was in it, it was very close. And I just remember I got in the car and I was driving home. I was shivering. I was cold. It was a 2-hour drive, and I bawled. I cried my eyes out for so many different reasons. One was I had an expectation about this being this hurrah moment of, getting some of my favorite clients together and give them something back. And then, having this kind of give and take return, and, adding this additional, it was just going to be easy. Everything was going to be easy. Well, it wasn't, because my heart wasn't really into there, and I needed to let that old story go. I had to let it go, but I was hanging on to it because I needed that stability to get me to Michigan, because I needed some additional money. And this is what I was thinking. And I wasn't open. I wasn't having an open heart. And so I bawled. And the other reason I bawled was because we had 6 or 7 years ago, my mom had passed away, and we had spread her ashes near that location. And I'm not going to be in the Jersey Shore anytime soon. And I had this beautiful moment of, I'm going to have this moment with my mom, right? I felt like by that time I got bitch slapped. My mom's like, time to move. Get the hell out of here. You're done with Jersey. And it was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call when I got home, because, I'm editing pictures and I'm doing some readings. And what it was a wake-up call was that my heart started to close to the idea that I can get there, that I can actually pull this off, with amount of losses. And this is what it is. You tell yourself a story of what you've been through. And I really had to sit with myself. And I did. I did sit with myself a lot the other day to reflect with me, and allowed it to come up as to why I had to, I just had to listen to myself. I had to listen to myself talk about the losses of what I've been through and the heartaches and the hardships and the people that fucked me over and and I'll get through anything and, cut through it. And why has everything got to be an obstacle? But I will show them. Who the hell am I showing? Like, who am I? Like, after I was listening to myself and I wrote everything down and I'm listening, I'm like, what am I talking about? That story is not changing me today of what I can be today, of what I love today. And it was like this huge reminder of like, no, this is not having an open heart. Like, that's not having an open heart to possibilities of what can happen. So how I know an open heart really does leave doors of possibilities and makes you feel amazing, and you just have this inner knowing where you need to be. And the question is what's stopping you? That's what it comes down to, is what's stopping you from having an open heart. And usually it is fear, and it's usually something of a past pain or what you need to go through. And that's something that I still struggle with. I have to listen to myself, and then I listen to myself going, God, here we go. But I do have to put this out here, that sometimes I listen to myself and I go, you sound so annoying. You sound like I don't even want to listen to you anymore. And that was my way of feeling about myself. Well, who's listening to me? It's all that inner child work that you do. And so you have to sit with your inner child. You have to sit with your inner child and go, I hear you. I feel you. What are you feeling right now? Oh, you're feeling sad. Let's feel the sadness. Let the sadness come in. Let's feel this loss. What does it feel like to be lost? I promise you, when you go through the notion of feeling, it does release. You do feel this immense amount of release if you really allow yourself to feel a loss or a hurt and then just let it go. And not let it go as in ignoring it, but let it go through you. It turns into something new. It's your vibration of what you love and what lights you on fire or anything like that. You can still feel that I don't know, you just feel lighter. Like, you feel extremely lighter. You feel passionate about yourself. You feel compassion for you. And the message I really wanted to get across about having an open heart is, it really did put a perspective of me as that I fell into the old paradigms of things of making money, or how I needed to get there, or that I couldn't ask for help, or I couldn't do this. And I have been open to some extent, but then I get into this trap of, it's a trap. It is your mind. Your mind is a really easy mind fuck, right? Like, it's so, especially when your ego comes in, it's like, no, we need to protect you. You need to go back to this because that's what gives you stability, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't. So like, it's like, when they say, money doesn't make you happy. Money brings you security, and it's just like this false security, but money will come in if you're open to it, to doing what is in highest vibration to you, and it does flow in naturally in that sense. How do I know this? Because I am following my passions now, and I am allowing that space. And as much as like today, I just did, tarot all day, and I did some videos, and I just, I meditated, and I focused really on me and what made me happy today. And it was really nice. I was able to do that. My roommate is not in town this weekend, and I was just taking the time to do me. And I had the best day. I absolutely had the best day today. Now, I did have some hiccups on technology. But here's what's funny with the hiccups of technology that I had. I was doing all these videos, right? And I noticed that I was running out of space. And I'm like, why am I running out of space all the time? And then I looked at, and I had, my entire phone was full of memories all the way up to 2016. I was like, what is all this? I thought I purged everything. And I was looking through and scrolling through some of the pictures. Some of those pictures was my ex. Some of those pictures was old relationships I had. Some of those pictures was old vlogs of my transformation, because I used to vlog a lot. And I was like, why am I holding on to all this? Why am I holding on to all this? There's no room. There's no room for anything new. Holy crap, this is a wake-up call. Well, if I'm open to deleting this, then I can put all new stuff on here. So I spent 2 hours today deleting my life. Fully deleting it. Now, some of you might go, oh my God, you deleted your photos, you deleted this, deleted that. I deleted stuff that did no longer serve me, period. Now, what I mean is, and I'm not saying like, I had stuff from Comic-Cons, I had videos on there, but I want to have space for new things. And I wanted to do this in a way that meant something to me. I needed to create the space for new things. I need to have an open heart. How can my heart be open if it's full with all this shit from the past? Period. So I took it literally and I motherfucking deleted every motherfucking thing on my phone today. And it was freeing. It was freeing. And I do feel like I'm in a high vibration now, and I do feel like I'm going to be open to possibilities. I'm going to be open that I'm still, my goal was fall, and if it happens sooner, that's great. You never know. You never know. And I can tell you, even when I was going into the higher vibration of having an open heart and starting my tarot business, the Harmonia Tarot, which, I was kind of closed off with it. I was like, I can't do that. People are not going to take that serious. They're not going to understand that I'm still trying to connect people. And I don't want people to think I'm a fortune teller, because that's not what I am. And everybody, I want to teach people that they can use their own intuition, and, that you shouldn't rely heavily on a reader and blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, well, why don't I do the niche of a reader who just explains that and explains what it is and teaches people? And so that's what I've been doing. And I will tell you this much, the receiving I've been getting has been shocking, totally shock driven as to the opportunities that are coming in, because I am in the vibration of where I need to be. So today I am having an open heart. I repeat, today I am having an open heart. I deleted stuff from my past to set a path to my goal, which is, I would love to have a home, and, to be in Michigan. It's where I feel driven to be. I want to be within that nature area. That's where I want to be. That's where my heart is. And, to have an open heart to my heart it feels very passionate, and I feel like it is going to push me because it is so different for what I'm used to. Oh my gosh, I'm moving to an area that is like, not saying it's like isolated to the point of like there's nobody there, but it's a very small town, and that's something I've always dreamed of, living in a small town. I always dreamed of that. And, what's the possibility of living in a small town? You're not going to have any possibility, how are you going to, support yourself? How are you going to do this? Since I have been open and honest with myself and honest with the people around me, I have had opportunities come up that I know I'll be okay. And that's something that I will be documenting moving forward, so that you guys can see that journey of me moving. And it might seem like, what's a big deal? She's moving, but it is a big deal. It is a big deal to me, because I am almost 42, and I am at the point in my life where I am finally having an open heart and following my dreams and listening to me, and being able to share that with people, to allow them to see I'm following by example. I'm leading by example. I'm leading people by example, so that they can follow and listen to their own heart. And that's something that's really important for me. It's really important because what's the point of this journey if we can't help each other? Think about it.